This
Okay.
conference will now be recorded.
Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. August 30th, 2022, 8:30 a.m. at Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting. We have an agenda in front of us. Everyone's had a chance to look at the agenda if there's any additions or corrections. Otherwise, need a motion and a second. So moved. Steve's made a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Mark has seconded. Any further discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item 2, approve the minutes of the August 23rd meeting. Everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes. If there's any additions or corrections.
Approve the minutes of the August 23rd meeting.
Jim has made a motion to approve the minutes of the August 23rd meeting. Second?
I'll second.
Seconded. Any further discussion on this?
Roll call, Mark.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Todd.
Okay. Item 3. County Attorney General discussion. I think he's going to be online. Morning.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sorry I'm not there in person again, but I'm still testing positive, so thought I better stay away. Anyway, I don't have a lot today. Tomorrow and Thursday was going to be the trial on that Kephart matter to try and obtain title to that property as abandoned property. I told the judge and the other attorney, which I feel like I'm supposed to do. I told him, I said, look, I've had COVID here. I'm supposed to be out of the quarantine period and everything, and I'm ready to go, but I probably ought to let you know I've had COVID and I'm still testing positive. Well, Mike Byrne, the other attorney, understandably, he said, well, he had something he wasn't comfortable proceeding. And so that case will be pushed back. I don't know to when. We'll set another date. I'll try and get it set as soon as I can. But there'll be, we'll have a trial scheduling conference at some point and we'll get that set. So just gonna let you know that. Like I said, I was, I was ready to go, and I was gonna do it, but other attorney kind of wanted to push it back, and the judge said, well, maybe that's best. So the only other thing is I do have, there's been a wrinkle or two come up on the Carpenter Sewer matter. I've got some material I'm going to review about different options that there might be on that. I'll do that and let you guys know what I think. And you may already have some plans, but anyway, I will do that. I do plan on probably, I'm at home at the moment. I do plan on probably going up to the office here in a while. I kind of just sit back in my own office there and don't bother anybody. I just come and go through the back door, so I don't think I'm causing anybody any trouble. So I guess that's all I have for now. If you have questions for me, go ahead.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Aaron, we probably can't discuss it. It's Carpenter Sewer because it's not on the agenda, but did you get my email in regards to some things about that?
Yes, I did. I saw it. I read it. I haven't dug into it much yet. I will do that.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Anybody else have any questions? Aaron? Okay, hearing none. Well, thank you, Aaron.
Oh, you bet.
Moving on, we have item 4, the sheriff update. Don't see him here. So go to item 5, department head discussion. Amanda?
Nice of you.
Yeah.
So I was asked to come here and give updates on my department since I haven't been in here for a while to give you guys updates.
Okay.
So, first off, I guess, I'm gonna pass these around. This will come up later when I'm talking about the updates, but there's one for each of you. It's just kind of gonna work like, I guess, like a quarterly report. So to start with zoning, since January 1st of 2022, we've had 33 building applications been granted in the county. One of them was including the new solar farm just east of Osage, and they paid their permit fee for that, and that ended up being $600 because we all decided on doing $50 per construction acre. So their total was $600. All the other permit fees have been received on those. There are currently no zoning commission or board of adjustment meetings. And then regarding the zoning map for the county that I talked about, I've been working with Rachel and Amy on trying to get some training on that. So we're kind of just waiting to see how that goes. And then once I get the training, I'll move forward with scheduling the zoning commission meetings. I'm probably not going to start those until the next fiscal year because I'm going to want to have it in the budget for the meetings themselves because we're going to have to pay mileage for all of the members, postage, supplies, all of that kind of stuff. So that's zoning. Do you guys have any questions on that? If you guys have any questions as I'm talking, just shout them out because I'm going to just ramble on. I made a bunch of notes. So. Okay, environmental health, wells and water tests. Since January 1st, 6 new wells have been drilled in the county from 2 different state certified contractors. 108 water tests have been conducted since the 1st. And I guess for anyone out there, I just want to reiterate that our tests are free by the county. And anyone who has a private well system is able to get their water tested at any time of the year. They just have to call my office and then schedule those. I take them on Mondays and Tuesdays. I used to take them on Wednesdays, but they just wouldn't get to the lab fast enough, and then I would just have to go retake the test. So Mondays and Tuesdays is when I take those tests. We're still offering reimbursements on well closures, cistern closures, and well reconstructions. And the reimbursements range from $400 to $700, depending on what type of work is done on the well or cistern. So that's that. Septic systems, there's kind of a lot to go over, but at the very beginning of the year, we decided on doing a Mitchell County contractor's license. 15 total contractors are certified in the county to install systems, and 9 out of those 15 are certified through the state. So that was kind of the big discussion on when we were deciding pricing of who was going to pay and who wasn't. We decided that the state certified individuals weren't going to pay for their permit fee. They just had to submit paperwork to me, which they all did, and 9 out of the 15 are certified through the state. Site evaluations are going really well. Having all the parties involved and on the same page is a huge help and relief when it comes time to install. Usually the homeowners can ask all the questions that they want when that site evaluation is happening. Those kind of get brought out of the way right at the beginning. Site evaluations weren't something that were typically done last year, so I'm glad that, going off code, we're doing those now. They're a huge help. There have been 15 septic system installs so far this year. 13 of them are house systems and 2 of them have been shop systems. But we have 42 applications that have been filled out in entirety for septic systems this year, and we're still receiving applications. So that means that we still have 27 more to install for the year. So last year, I think we were at 38. So, I mean, we're obviously improving on that, so I'm pretty happy with that. Permitting systems is getting a little lengthier in process compared to previous years because I'm, getting GPS coordinates and creating the maps of the systems, and they take some time. It usually takes me about an hour per permit to be able to start it from like the actual paperwork side of it to start and end. So that doesn't include actually going out into the field and getting all of the coordinates and all of that. So I passed around that permit. That's an example of what the permit actually looks like. It'll come on, for the homeowner, it'll come on cardstock and it'll be on nicer paper, obviously. This is an example of a permit that, my latest permit that I just filled out for an individual in the county. So it has a bunch of information on there, permit number, contractor, what kind of tank they have, how many laterals there are, what their average trench depth is, their well, how close it is to their system, how close the nearest lake, pond, stream, or waterway is, if their site lies in a floodplain, the type of soil, that's kind of the really important one on there because their soil is really the thing that determines what kind of system is going to go in the ground. And then within that, so I put in what I find when I probe their ground, and then I also put in what USDA Web Soil Survey classifies their soil as. Because sometimes people really like to know exactly what the USDA is saying out there too. Distance to groundwater, that one's really important because there has to be a separation distance between the groundwater and the septic system themselves. The percentage of slope on site, and then the new thing on there is the latitude and longitude system details. So that's where all of the GPS coordinations come into play. So you have coordinates for the tank itself, the distribution box, and the laterals, however many there are, and each lateral gets its own GPS coordinates. So if they were to take this and look at it, and just randomly one day they forget where their system is, they can pull this up and they can go to the exact location and they know where their system lies. And then it also tells you which way that their system runs, because GPS coordinates are great, but if you need to know exactly which way that your system's running, so it'll tell you whether or not it runs from north, south, south to north, east to west, west to east. So that's the permit. It's a little more extensive than previous years, but.
What do they use for laterals nowadays? Is it that dome?
Yeah, infiltrators is what they call them. Yep, but you can do like rock and pipe still, yeah. But a lot of people use the infiltrators. It's kind of the newest thing. So
I would think that system would last longer than the rock and pipe.
it does.
You'd have more area to saturate.
Yeah, it does as long as people don't drive over.
Yes.
So yeah.
All about that.
Yes. So it does last. Yes. And then I also got this super fancy folder for all the homeowners too, through the state. It has pretty much everything, all of the information on the permit. It's also going to have it on this folder. I fill this out for the homeowner. They don't have to do any of this. I do this. And then you open it. Inside, it's got a maintenance record. So we recommend 3 to 5 year pumping on septic systems. So every time they get their system pumped or some sort of work gets done on their system, they can put it right in this chart and they can keep track of it right there. It'll have their installer information, their pumper information. If they have a more extensive mechanical system, it'll tell them who their operation and maintenance provider is, because you need a maintenance contract when it comes to those systems. It has the do's and don'ts on a system, what you should do, what you shouldn't. And then what's really nifty about this is that it also includes your well information too. I don't usually fill out the well information, but they're more than welcome to contact me and I can give them all the information so they can write this down on their well too. So I got these through the state. They're really nifty. They're pretty professional, I think, and it gives them not only one option to keep this paper in this folder, but if they lose this paper, they still have the folder, or vice versa. All the information is there. So, and then also included in the Mitchell County septic system applications, something that happened at the very beginning of the year from January 1st and closed on April 30th was the IFA grant. So there was a grant throughout the state that was available to anybody who lived in like a really, really small town or within places like New Haven or Totterville or places like that. They were able to apply for a grant, and we had 9 people apply for that. So there were 711 applications received statewide, so we had 9 of those. One individual in our county has already been issued the money. Their system's already gone on the ground, and they were actually just issued the money this morning. And they were awarded $15,100 for their system. The other 8 applications are still pending approval through the Iowa DNR, but Iowa Finance Authority has told me that they have reserved money for all 8 of our systems. So in total, with all 9 systems, that would be roughly $144,000 coming to Mitchell County for free. So,
Yeah.
And then lastly, I kind of wanted to go over the new fiscal year budget. Everything looks great. For the month of August, I kind of wanted to go over my revenue side. For the month of August, $11,298.86 was deposited into my department. $1,525 were for septic systems. $8,843.86 were for wells and grants to county money. And then $930 were for zoning and building applications. So for the fiscal year, $11,648.86 has been deposited for my department. So to be able to meet my revenue budget for each line item that I have 3. So wells and grants to county, I only need $1,116.14 to meet my revenue budget for the year. I have a septic system line item, I need $2,275. I have over $1,000 worth of billed money to the contractors that they need to pay me for. So I'm already halfway there for that. And then the zoning line item, the budget's already actually been surpassed by $290.
Your budget looks good.
My budget looks really good. Yeah. I haven't even submitted the first quarter for grants to county yet this year because that quarter ends September 30th, I think. And I'm averaging $4,000 plus per grants to county quarter. So I'll probably be over by the end of the quarter when I get paid for that. So.
Sounds
Just
good.
wanted to give you guys some positive updates on zoning and environmental health. So if you guys have any questions?
Couple of questions. As far as the zoning, you'll have your own layer, or how will that work? Or the GIS system, or what's the thoughts?
Yeah, I'll only have access to the layer that I have, like I'll create. So, but it'll overlay on the current map that we have, if I have that right. So our assessor map that we have a layer like the floodplain layer. So you just click a button and then the floodplain pops up and it tells you where that lies. That'll be the same thing for the zoning layer. So you click a button and then the entire overlay for the zoning will do the entire county.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Sounds like it's working then.
it'll be a process. I have to pretty much, my plan is to do it by township, I think, but that's gonna be a lot. So it's gonna be a pretty long, heavy meeting if I do it by township. So I may have to divide the townships in half, which will end up being 34 meetings that I'll have to host just for zoning commission meetings. Because, you have to host that meeting and then send it to you guys for approval on the zoning. And then I have to send out letters to all of the individuals in the parcels that are in question. So every single person that has land out in the country that's not in an incorporated town gets a letter. So it's a lot of postage. It's a lot of work, but yeah.
So we're not looking to cause problems with that
No.
versus trying to
No, yeah,
clean anything up that might not be correct.
right. Yeah, everything that I already have zoned, besides for a couple parcels that I may want to change, are all gonna stay the same. So if, somebody back in, 1992 wanted to have their parcel zoned as commercial, that'll stay as commercial. But they still need to get a letter because they're gonna be in the area that we'll be talking about.
Is it, I think the majority of it zoned agriculture, or is it?
Like all the farmland is, yeah. So, but again, all of those people need notice. I can't just do it without them knowing. So yeah, most of the farmland, like all of the parcels that are farm ground, those will be agricultural. A lot of the acreages will be agricultural. There are some that are, again, some people back in the day wanted to have their parcel rezoned as, a commercial thing because they were working on tractors for a living or something along those lines. So those, can come up in question. They can stay the same. It's pretty much just hearing them out and just kind of saying like, you have a problem with your parcel being zoned this way.
Isn't it something if a parcel isn't over 10 acres or something, it's considered residential, and if it's over that, then it's agriculture or something? I mean, as far as the
It
tax
doesn't say
assessment.
that in our ordinance.
Okay.
No.
As far as the tax assessment goes, I think it does.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't say that in the zoning ordinance.
Because I just know people that have an acreage and they get, their tax assessment is,
Yeah, so
Residential.
taxes are
that's different.
different. Yeah, they go under different classifications. So that was a big thing when I was talking to Amy at one
Yeah.
point. I asked her, does the classification for your guys' office matter to my office at all? And she said no. They're two completely different things. Yeah.
The IFA grant, does that pay, do they have to pay a percentage of the cost? Or
No,
is
it
all
could be.
everything?
It could be everything. It goes off of the quotes that the contractors originally submitted. So the one that, excuse me, the one that was already awarded, originally the quote was for $15,000, but they paid up to like 15,100. So it goes off of the averages of the quotes. Because I think originally one quote was at 15 and then the other one was at 15,400. So then they kind of met in the middle. So, but it's not a guarantee that they'll pay all of it. This one still had to pay a couple hundred out of pocket just because of, miscellaneous things, labor, things that weren't in the original quote.
The permits, do you scan them in case they lose everything that you can send us?
Well, I keep them in my file and I have them, I have their maps and everything on my computer, but I have them in my file
So
too.
they can get hold of you and say,
Yeah, in case they lose it. Yeah, I keep a record in my file. I keep their original application, all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
and we're redoing the website, so you want to make sure that you get to be part of that as far as all the information that you do. Well,
Yeah.
testing Monday, Tuesday, something that people can look up and know what your schedule is and
Yep.
the documents that you have. And
Yep, and that was another thing too, I guess I didn't put it on here, I'm gonna be working on creating a Facebook page for environmental health. So people can also reach me there if they don't see it on the courthouse, they can put it on Facebook or something.
Sounds perfect. Any questions? Well, thank you for all that information. Sounds
Yep.
like-
thank you very much.
Yep.
Sounds like you're doing
Thank
good.
you for your presentation.
Item 6, county engineer update. Rich? Morning. Morning.
Much to discuss this morning. We did get, I think I reported to you last week, the ping down on Kirkwood, so get some final measurements on the length of paint out there, get that stuff paid. They're gonna, tomorrow, I think they're gonna mill in the rumble strips and then we'll be completely done. So we're gonna change order yet for Hickory and Totterville yet for the extra base, the sub base stabilization that we put down. So got a lot of paperwork to do on projects to finish up. Still haven't heard anything on when we're gonna, when the contractor wants to move in on north of Stacyville. So On Friday, we're gonna bring some equipment to the fairgrounds for that road safety thing they've got going on. Take a couple guys and I'll try to get out there myself and just kind of help our guys discuss with the school age kids that'll be out there, you know, safety of gravel roads. And I have some pamphlets that I got given to me, I don't know, several years ago now that kind of talk about gravel road dust and everything else. So something good to hand out to the kids to watch out and say, hey, don't rely on dust at intersections, watch out for corn. We have a lot of uncontrolled intersections, drive with caution, that kind of stuff. Try to throw out some of those pamphlets too and get them out into the hands of the kids. And then we're gonna be out doing some patching on 430th probably next week. Just some spots where there's some culvert heaves and things like that to get some patching caught up. We did patch up by the ethanol plant. Did a patch. Wait, last week we did a patch up there. There was a panel that was really kind of falling apart. So we patched that up there. And then last week I had a request in New Haven to bore a tile under the road. I denied the request, but I told the contractor to talk to you guys about it too. Supposedly there's a parallel tile running along the road inside New Haven on the north side of the road, which my documents, my plans don't show any tile exists at all. I don't know what it drains or what's there. I haven't seen the tile. I know there's probably some tile to the east. Jim, you and I kind of talked about that a little bit. Our standard has always been, policy is always tile to top connections will pay for borings. And this one's not requested to get tile to top connection. There's a slough on the south side of the road they want to drain to. Well, I denied it based on our standard practice of tile to top connections is what we pay for boring. So it looks as though the ditch on that side of the road, and I don't know how long, I mean, that ditch has probably been filled in for years, but there's no ditch drainage there either. So I think the water table is a little high there. Just to the west is the ditch has been dug out, you know, so there's, but I don't know. I told them I'd ask you guys if you guys wanted to pay for tile crossings or not. Typically we don't, but I said I'd ask you guys. And so I don't really want to start bending rules or anything else or bending practices, but that's typically what we do. They're trying to put in a septic system in a residential area there. And I think, I don't know if the water table is high there or whatever, but usually we don't just pay for it. I mean, I'll allow them to bore in the road and drain it, but I don't think the taxpayers have to pay for it.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's a crossroad culvert that's just to the west of it. The surface water can actually go west and then run south to that slough. And primarily we've always dealt with surface water. We really haven't dealt with tiles, paper tiles like that.
And I haven't, like I said, I can't find, it's a parallel tile and typically we don't have parallel tile that we have established now. It's different being it's New Haven and it's at one time was an established town, community, whatever. So I don't have any of their, I haven't been able to find any of their maps yet. I haven't taken the time to look that hard. But our roadway plans don't show that in our plans. And all we show is ditch drainage. So whose tile it is, I don't know. But I thought I'd bring it to your attention and tell you what I'm gonna do and you're back. Just know what's happening.
So that project isn't completed then. I see it's the dirt and everything's all leveled back.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where he was at. If he was just finding doing some reconnaissance digging, I think. I don't know what's going on. Or whatever he had seen going on there. But I don't think it's complete yet in that residence. There is no ditch there right now. It's filled in. I mean, and that's where the old city hall was, or the bar and everything else. You know, there was a lot of, I think over time the ditch got filled in. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at right now. And like I said, we'll take 2 pieces of equipment to the fairgrounds on Friday, a truck and a motor grader. We might take one of the old motor graders because it does have a wing on it. And give the kids an idea of how wide these things are in the wintertime. We won't take the time to put a wing on a snowplow truck because it's just a lot of work to take back off. We're not ready to put snow equipment on it. But having one piece of equipment out there, it'll be a Volvo, but having one piece of equipment gives you the idea of how wide that stuff is on the road. I'll help, hopefully help the guys kind of discuss the do's and don'ts. We've had experiences in the past, we've had accidents with people trying to pass plows and whatnot. Kind of tell them to be patient, but that's what we're gonna try to do something Friday there. 2 guys and myself, most likely maybe 4 of us will be out there. We'll just see, you know, it's hard to take one of the operators and ask them to talk to kids. They're not, you know, it's tough. I don't think you'd want to do it, would you? Go talk to kids and explain stuff. They know what they're looking for, but we'll have a couple guys there that operate it. They'll jump in when they need to. So we'll try to give the best information we can. Okay. That's all I've got for you this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
Item 7, compensation update.
Morning. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Here to update you guys a little bit. Our last board meeting, I'll just take you through kind of what happened there. We started out, fuel came up on the claims there. It's looking high this year again. You guys understand the prices there, but one solution we're trying to look into is just contracting maybe a little bit. We're gonna look into buying or renting a bigger storage tank and then see, you know, we feel like we're behind the 8 ball for this year on that, but just so we're prepared for future fluctuation on that. Go talk to the companies and see what we can figure out with Johnson Oil and
You're
stuff like
talking
that.
about putting storage tank out there on the,
Yeah, we've just got a small tank and we're running on demand, I believe.
you probably have to put in a dual wall tank then. You've already checked into that, I'm sure.
No, not really.
You required after so many gallons of fuel, there has to be a dual wall tank.
We put that in St. Ansgar. Rich could cue you in on that. That's a fairly large size one. We have smaller ones as they spill and Riceville that might be more adequate for you.
Well, it's worth kind of looking up some even gas tanks and stuff, Scott.
Yeah, so they're pricey.
So might not be for this year or whatever, but
Just
something
a
we're
heads
talking-
up on that idea.
Yeah.
And that's not a rule that we're providing, it's a rule by the state.
You can still do, I think you can still do single tanks, but you gotta put the barrier and all around it to keep it. Oh, dual wall just seems easier because you spring the lead.
jot that down.
Always a headache involved.
For sure.
And again, depending, I think, the size of the tank, it's good.
Yeah, yes,
I think you have
size of the tank.
license through the state, I think, a certain gallon tank where you wouldn't necessarily have to be, but
Okay. Get a hold of you too on that. So, just trying to see what we can do because it is pretty high this year. It's gonna run out halfway through the year the way things look right now. So
maybe said some, how many gallons?
I don't know about gallons. Our budget's like 28,000 a year. And we're eating through that pretty quick. So it's heavier in the summer than it is in the winter for us because you got park stuff, but and a bunch of seasonal staff. But it's still a little bit alarming at this point where we're at so far. So, and there's not much you can adjust that way. We're not doing anything different than we've done in the past. It's just double the price right now. So,
Next thing is to hit the low.
yeah,
The unknown that is, the otherwise
yeah,
you're either gonna be a hero or a zero. For sure. Otherwise a zero. Almost by when
yeah. Yeah, last winter would have been good maybe, but
Yeah.
where we're at with it. Another thing we're working on is getting out a camping survey for this coming weekend. We've had pretty good camping revenues coming out, but you know, there's a lot of different opinions out there on how we're running our reservable sites. Some people love it, some people hate it. So we're just gonna get some clarification there and also just some input on what other projects they'd like to see down the road. During the winter time, we do a 5-year planning process to just kind of see what's on the horizon, what people want more. Do they want a bathroom or a shelter or playground, whatever the case may be. So a couple of those questions will be going out and we'll get some direction from that. See where that goes. Another thing that came up that I heard the last gal say was the website. Our new board member, Mike Paulsick, really wants to see us upgrade our website. We have one started that we've been building in-house and it's become kind of a monster. You can hire someone to build a website, but if you don't fill it with content, there's not much there, honestly. And you can get your own cookie cutter one for $250 a year from like GoDaddy. That's what we've been doing. But we just haven't filled in the content for our 40 areas, 5 parks, trails, all that stuff. You need pictures, videos, and then text to go with it. So we've got probably 60% of that in place, maybe less. And it's kind of a winter thing we're working on, but we heard Paul's working on one for the county, so we're gonna explore a chance for partnership there and see if there's any overlap we can use to our advantage and upgrade that thing and make it a little bit more functional. So that's one we're working on. Let's see. We have an inspection on the Mitchell Mill Dam on the 8th. So the feds come down and check it out and see how safe it is and if anything's wrong. So we're getting ready for that right now, working with Paul Bergeon to try to get the final touches on that hose replacement. There it is in, chains are over there. We just got to get electricity hooked up and get the chains hooked up and a little bit of welding to do yet. So that's kind of the focus for the next 2 weeks, is to get that off the ground. And then obviously today at noon, our wetland mitigation bids are due. So we're anxious about that to see what that's going to come in at. Obviously, when we approved it in June of 21, it was like 250, 240 was the estimate on that. And like everything else, things have gone up. So not sure what to expect. Our board has a public hearing on the 13th to decide if we're going to take the low bid. Before that time, obviously, we need to work with you guys and figure out how we want to fund it. Like I said, we won't have a number till noon today about what the low bid actually is, so it's kind of hard to project, but engineers said things around the state have been doubling, kind of like the fuel costs. So we're kind of preparing for the worst case scenario and seeing how we could fund that. The original motion said we would fund it out of the general fund. That may still be an option. I don't know where that's sitting. I haven't visited with Rachel about this yet either. I did reach out to banks to see what we could get if we needed to borrow the money. They're pretty flexible. Rates range from 4 to 5% right now is pretty much what we're looking at. I did a couple scenarios just real quick. If we did a 15-year, you could keep the payment down like $44,000 a year. You'd end up paying like $160,000 in interest if you kept it for the whole 15. I guess we kind of talked about at our board meeting to look at loans with a longer payback so that we could be more selective on how much we sell the credits for. If you're trying to undercut and sell less, you're just going to end up with less profit. But obviously, if you take 15 years to pay it, you're going to pay more in interest. So finding a happy medium is kind of what we're going with. It'll be hard to project that without knowing our construction costs. So I'll have more for you on that. I looked at a 5-year loan as well. That'd be about $115,000 in payment a year, and you'd knock the interest down to like 77. So I guess our philosophy was that we would stretch it out so that we could have flexibility, but then also pay extra if we sold extra credits and just pay it as quickly as we can to try to knock down the interest on that. So if we went with the loan way, if we went from the general fund or another source that you guys want to provide, that'd kind of be up to you on how much you want us to pay per year. I would hope that we could be flexible so that we could again maximize those credits. They're selling from 35 to 45,000 right now. The credits are, so that's a big difference in range. So if we sold them all for 35, we have 28.58 credits, and I'll provide you guys a sheet once I get those numbers, so you don't have to remember all this. I'll tell you the breakdowns on the different scenarios and loans, so you don't have to try to figure all this right now. But basically, you make about 300,000 more off the project if you sold it at 45 versus at 35. So pretty big difference there, and I guess we'll just have to see how that market works once we get into selling them. We should actually be able to start selling here on the 13th once everything's approved. So we're going to move forward with that. Suppose we can talk about it over the next week, and like I said, I'll try to get you guys that sheet tomorrow. Get everything put into a spreadsheet. We just need that final number, and I'll get that to you guys so you can start deciding what the best avenue is for that. Go next week to make a decision, hopefully, and then we can be ready to go.
Is there a lot of credits on the market right now? You know?
I haven't looked at what's all out there. I'm sure there's going to be some competition on it, so probably middle of the road is the way to go. But yeah, we'll see if we can make some more calls and get some more information on that part of it to make sure we're being competitive.
Because you pre-sell some credits, right? A
Yep.
percentage?
15%, so whatever 15% and 28.58 is, I think it's like 4 credits or something. Rough number would be like 150,000 you could pre-sell, I think is what they're looking at, so. And then when you're done with construction, which for us should be in June of next year, you can sell another 15%. We could be at 300,000 already if everything went perfectly, but I don't know if you're gonna sell them that quick. Like I said, you don't want to be locked into trying to sell them at the lowest rate possible, or you're just losing out, so.
So we're just competing with 3 other sites, is that right?
Yep, as of now.
We're one of the 3, or there's 3 other sites?
Can't remember.
But it's something like that. So-
Yeah,
Okay.
and each site's limited to the 15% a year, so. So far, everybody's sold out of their credits on schedule in that site, so.
So 15% a year till they're gone.
Yep, till they're gone.
Even after your project's complete, you can still only sell 15%.
I think so, yeah. I mean,
Gives everybody else a chance to sell some, is that the
yeah,
idea of it?
that's part of it, for sure. And then they also want you to maintain your project, so a lot of these are private that aren't skilled at taking care of a wetland or whatever. You have to meet certain certifications. They do come back and monitor it. And so if they let you sell it all and then walk away, then they got a lawsuit on their hands, basically. So they want to hold you to it by making you do 15 till it's closed. Then they kind of figure they got their benefit and the site will be established permanently at that point. So that's kind of how the regulation of it works, I guess. Yeah, that's all I got as far as projects and stuff upcoming right now. We are going to invite you guys to a tour. We're going to check out the Mitchell Mill Dam, Potrano Dam, and then head back over to Stacyville and look at the pits and wetlands and cabin. That'll be on October 2nd. We'll do that at 12:30. I think we'll meet at the Nature Center and eat. We'll send you guys an invitation. But we usually do a barbecue and then go around and check out what's happening in the county for that year and get input from you guys on what else you'd like to see. If you want to join us for that, that'd be great. Some kind of barbecue was requested, so if anybody's good.
Roadkill.
Anybody's good at that. Anything else? Questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Moving on, item 9, meetings attended.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. I was looking, okay, 8, all right. Item 8, approve fireworks permit. One for Taylor Hanson at 4387 Highway 218, St. Ansgar, Iowa. For 9-3 and 9-4. The address above. And we have another one for Russell Nelson at 3959 Glass Avenue. Sportsman's Park, September 3rd.
We approve these separately then?
You can approve them together.
Group them together.
Okay.
So we have a motion to approve these fireworks permits.
Make a motion for the 2 fireworks permit.
I'll second.
Any motion, Steve seconded. Any further discussion on these?
Roll call, Todd.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Mark.
Good.
Item 9, meetings attended.
Nothing to report. Nothing to report.
I had a conservation meeting, but Mark went for me, so I wasn't able to.
Adam
I
covered
had
it
pretty
all.
much covered it, yeah.
You and I.
And I, well,
Yeah, that's all I had, sir.
okay, and I had nothing.
Yeah, item B, public comments. Keith,
Nothing to complain about
nothing to
today.
complain about today. That's good. Moving on then, we need a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn.
Made a motion to adjourn. We have a second.
I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.